call this meeting to order of the Alger County Commissioners. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Capagrosa,
Here.
Commissioner Livermore,
Here.
Commissioner Nettleton,
Here.
Commissioner Rondo,
Here.
Commissioner Seabird.
All rise for the pledge. Rick, will you lead us?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Brings us to brief public comment. Brief public comment. Hearing none, will close brief public comment. Agenda. We get a acceptance of the agenda.
Go
ahead.
Motion to accept agenda.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Capagrosa. Yes. Commissioner Livermore.
Yes.
Commissioner Nettleton.
Yes.
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes. We have two sets of minutes.
Consent agenda.
Can we just do it?
Nope.
We approve the agenda.
Regular
Oh,
agenda.
okay. Okay, motion on the consent agenda.
Move to accept the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Does that go all the way down to E there?
Yes.
Okay,
Well, H, E.
okay. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Capagrosa. Yes. Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nettleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes. No minutes.
Didn't see anything. I wasn't here for the second one, but.
Didn't find any errors.
Make a motion to accept them.
I will.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Capagrosa. Yes. Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nettleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes. Approve Alger County Group Insurance Third Party Administrator. Explain that for us.
Yeah, insurance committee met the other day. Pretty much it was a unanimous decision of all those present that we continue with 44 North as our third party administrator for our health insurance benefits for employees.
So no change.
Make a motion to approve it.
Still moved.
Second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Capagrosa. Yes. Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nettleton,
Yes.
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes. Authorized snow plowing and hauling, RFP.
It's the one that we had adjusted so that they need not just the front end loader, but they also need other equipment. Was part of that,
Yeah, they must possess, not that they have to plow every time with the loader.
but they have to,
They have to have.
the owner will need backup equipment if it's needed in case of a breakdown.
Don't we have a plow and a pickup for,
That's
do
what
they use it?
they do for doing the sidewalks and the paths and stuff. Brian will keep those clean. They'll do the up close work.
There was something about the, you dropped the poor kid's ball, eh?
He's okay, he's done.
You sitting on the bar thing over there? Anyway, you know, there was something about the emergency, vehicle's door, and he can't plow that, they need to be or no? You know what I'm talking about?
If he really needed to, he would do it, but that's part of the contract here, that anytime there's more than 2 inches of snow, that they have to come back.
Ambulance, garage, and
Throughout.
the sheriff's department must be
It's,
plowed.
Yeah, it's happened in the past where he's went down and swept out in front of the.
Right,
EMS
Brian, if he
truck.
has to, yeah, he will.
Okay,
Just out of curiosity, I don't remember seeing it last time, the animal shelter is part of this, that we still have,
That wasn't that, that was already in there.
that wasn't there?
Yeah.
mhm.
I'm just now.
Do we hear anything more on that? No.
To the court.
I'm sorry I brought it up.
I brought it up. Yeah,
You have a motion on that?
motion,
To authorize?
Motion to authorize,
And approve as presented.
yes.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Caprosa?
Yeah.
Commissioner Livermore?
Yes.
Commissioner Middleton?
Yes,
Commissioner Rondo?
Yes. Anything on cost saving? Do we have any unfinished business?
Do not.
Financial matters?
None.
Committee reports?
we pretty much just got the insurance committee meeting, the first part of it anyhow, and we meet again tomorrow to go over the actual plans.
I didn't have any since our last meeting. I have a DHHS on Thursday and the veterans on Thursday. And then,
Is Becky back for Thursday?
yes, she'll be back the 18th, I believe. I know that they got Ashley Webster to do the food again for the veterans dinner. So that's on November 11th, so. And we had lots of people show for the 10th. We had free haircuts, gas cards, and then a lot of information for veterans for the 10th, and that was a really good turnout, at least from what my husband says. Otherwise, I have nothing right now.
Any other
So I
reports? Resolution. Resolution approving brownfield plan by the county of Alger.
I'm wondering if we could, table that till the next meeting. I had some questions, regarding the tax deferment. Also, I agree with, Dean with regard to parking space out there. And, he had a Zoom meeting with, the people, the developers, and couldn't get certain questions answered. So I'm just hoping that we can, he can get his questions answered. And, still, I mean, I know every business owner pays property taxes. And they're getting 17 years without having to pay any. I'm just wondering who's making up the difference here. $67 million.
Mickey, I'm sorry, you're the chair tonight.
Oh,
Just
Mind if
back
you
it.
address those
Sure.
concerns?
Huh?
These are the developers. Mind if
What's
they-
your request? That we table it? Is that what you're
Until
talking about?
next meeting, yeah. There's more information that Dean's looking for, and I called him, he was in Alaska, he sent me a picture of some blow
Well-
pictures from Walmart.
I mean, they were here last week for any other and more
Yeah,
questions, so
they've been
I
here for us, they've been here for a public hearing.
Yeah,
mean, I really.
mean, if people have questions, those
rather
are
not-
the times to bring
I'd
those
rather
questions
not table
forward.
it. I think that we should go ahead with this. Keep it on track.
well, my summer just ended, so I got to sit down and really go through it, and I had,
Yeah, I just got this.
yeah,
I've had it about 2 days. I get a lot of contradictions in it.
We did have a resolution.
Huh?
We had a.
Yeah, I get to the resolution, but it don't mean that I have to support this now. I didn't
not
have.
that I won't support it, I just want,
Yeah, I'd like to have them questions answered myself.
Where were these questions? I guess that's my problem, is where were these questions over the course of the last, I don't know, month, 6 months? We just had a public hearing that nobody asked a question.
Last
We
week.
closed it after
Yeah.
6 minutes because we were all here and nobody asked a question. A
well,
little
I just,
bothered by all of a sudden.
that's, I had time to sit down and read it, and those were questions I called Dean about. And then he had a Zoom meeting and he couldn't get answers he wanted answered, so.
What
I
are,
just,
what are we concerned about? Parking that has nothing to do with what we're doing?
Well, I'm more concerned, I mean, 17 years, no taxes.
Mick, if it's okay with you, may the developers explain the
I'm
brownfield?
waiting for Rick to finish what he's doing,
Well, that's,
Sure.
I mean,
and I'll handle that.
that's what I was looking at primarily because every property owner I know pays their tax.
Mhm.
And, villages go up, everything goes up, and those people, me included, because I'm a business owner, we pay the burden of that.
Mhm.
So that's just one of the things. I know Dean had a couple of questions, but he was in Alaska and he just, he didn't get his questions answered, so. Maybe that's why he's in Alaska.
Yeah. Are you,
Yeah,
okay, man?
Good afternoon, Jill Ferrari, Shannon Morgan. We're owners of Renovar Development, two of five owners of Renovar Development. Thank you for having us here today. I want to address the Zoom call questions. There were a few questions during that call, a couple of which caused us to actually circle back on some of the data we had. One of the questions was the hourly pay that had been anticipated in the plan for some of the workers. The commissioner thought that those numbers might be a little low. He was actually correct. The numbers that we generate for this plan came from Plant Moran, their accounting firm. They come from historical data. And so they generated those numbers based on proposed future workers in a licensed childcare facility, licensed restaurant, just based on what has historically been paid. We went to the tenants that we actually have letters of intent with for these spaces to compare their proposed pay rates with what Plant Moran had put in the plan, and they are higher by at least $2 to $5 per hour. So that information is important, that in this plan, we're being conservative. We are looking at kind of a lower case scenario on those pay rates, but the fact that our tenants have already stated that they plan to pay higher is it's just good news. On the tax capture piece, I just want to remind everybody, this is a DDA property. Every property in the Downtown Development Authority pays its taxes, just like we will. The other buildings, their properties their taxes are being captured for uses in the DDA. We are going to be paying our taxes for 17 years. It's just getting captured for these two projects and improvements on these projects. So it's the same tax treatment as any other property in the DDA. It's just how those taxes are used within the DDA. None of the taxes that are generated in the DDA, or please correct me if I'm wrong, I know the attorney's here, very few of the taxes that are generated in the DDA actually go back to the county because everything is captured under that taxing authority. So definitely don't want anyone to think that we're not paying the taxes. We are. They're just being captured, just like the other properties, and used for a particular purpose.
I would add too, regarding the parking, that we are free of all contingencies. We've met all site plan approvals through the local municipality. We have reached they have removed all contingencies regarding parking, regarding snow, and we have full authority to move forward and have passed through their public process. And I know you said there were other questions. I think, getting that information we're happy. As we said, we've been here multiple times. None of these questions have come up in public meetings, and we're happy to address them right now.
I don't have those questions that Dean had. I think it was a Zoom meeting and.
Is there a reason they did not come up in the last public meeting?
You'd have to ask him, he's not here.
Did he Zoom since the last meeting is what's happening? Okay, so
No.
whatever,
No.
I'm not gonna speak for Dean, but he was here last week knowing he would not be here this week and had no further questioning. So I would assume that he would have gotten his answers knowing he was gonna be out of town.
Can I
but
speak?
Yes,
Mind if I speak? I was at the Zoom meeting. And Dean left halfway through it. Because they said they had to check with their attorneys on something.
Yes.
And then he says therefore he wasn't interested anymore and he left the meeting.
I actually, thank you, Pam. Dean asked for the identity of all of the investors in the project. And we told him that there is a fund where capital is being raised through the Opportunity Zone program. And so the identity of all the investors, it may be an issue for us legally to divulge who those people are. And that's when he left the call. Although we did say we would share every piece of information that we are legally able to share. We have nothing to hide. This program is a program that allows individuals or corporations with capital gains tax to invest. And foreign corporations do not have capital gains. I think he was worried about foreign investment in the project. But foreign corporations don't have capital gains tax unless they are here, located in the United States and have a United States company that generates tax. So we did run this issue by our attorney, and that's kind of what they came back with. But he wanted a list of all the investors, and we're not done raising yet. But they will most likely be people in the UP that have an interest in an equity position in the project. We are not seeking foreign investment of any kind.
I hear you. I still would like to table it till next.
Because of your questions?
And because of Dean's,
Hmm,
I don't know what else he had
I-
to ask. He did say that he walked out.
He didn't ask any questions at the public hearing meeting, but that was his opportunity.
I mean, we were here last week.
Table requires a motion, correct?
We don't have to agree to it.
Not all. I do have a comment on your construction wages anticipated project are listed. Your $14.73 an hour is probably half of what you're gonna pay a carpenter. Here, and an iron worker, you are going to pay lots more. I do have another question. And it's got to do with the property itself. I'm wondering why that property has been able to sit here for so long. I don't know who's. But I remember back in the 80s and 90s, shut the gas station down in my community and a store because of the same thing that sat here since the 30s. Is that what you're saying? And there's a gas tank there and you're gonna build on top of that?
There was a gas tank under Superior Avenue near the
Was or
vacant.
is?
It was
It's not,
removed.
okay.
Yeah. There's still some contamination there that we are dealing with. We're excavating that using fish back.
Who's paying, why is the landowner paying that?
Well, the landowner in Michigan, as long as the landowner performs certain investigation, they can, they can
Mhm.
get liability exemption for that contamination. We have to deal with it because we're putting apartments on it and we want it to be safe.
Thank you. So where are we?
Well, I'd like to make a motion that we table it for till the next meeting.
Like, no, okay. I guess they were just waiting for roll call.
No, there's no second.
No, he's no second. So you gotta. Who made the motion here?
Rick did,
No, but there's no support for that falls.
correct.
So somebody make a motion to accept it? Who did?
I make a motion to accept the resolution.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Caprosa,
No,
Commissioner Livermore,
Yes.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Rondo.
No. table it.
If the motion fails,
Fails.
and
Yep.
if it wanted, if the board wanted to readdress it, it would have to be brought again. Through the resolutions according to board policy.
Okay, we got you. The next resolution, 2023-19, opposing legislation preempting load control of solar and wind.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Caparosa,
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore, Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes. I don't know if this is a resolution or it's a proclamation about the homeless. What's the difference?
The name,
Just, but they're acting the same.
yeah, it's not given a resolution number and it's just a declaration you can do every year.
I just find November's kind of a bad month to have,
This came from Rod.
yeah. But you think maybe they might have done June? Anyway. Do we have any motion on that?
I'll move to approve it.
I'll second it.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Caparosa,
Yeah.
Commissioner Livermore.
Yep.
Commissioner Nelson,
Yes.
Commissioner Rondo.
Yes. Correspondence?
Nope, nothing.
Board comments?
Yeah, I'll be happy to, once I wrap my head around this, I'd be happy to, oh yes, I'm a little bit behind, real busy summer, and I had questions that were answered, and then others that weren't, and then Dean had some, so, but, we'll just have to wait a month, on that,
2 weeks?
2 weeks,
Isn't it the next
3 weeks.
meeting old?
You guys just have another,
3 weeks,
we have to wait till another whole meeting.
unless you want to have a special meeting, but
Well, I would like to because I read this about 3 times in 2 days and there's still a lot of things that I don't get.
you'd all have to be here and he's not coming back until.
Yeah, well,
Not 100% sure on that, honestly. We all have to be notified. I can't find anywhere in policy or in Robert's rules that we must all be present. We must all be notified of a special meeting.
We can check on it. Yeah. Okay.
You wouldn't need unanimous, you wouldn't need full board attendance, you'd have to have a quorum.
So we can message him, notify him, and we're good.
And from what I read, I wanna double check that with prosecutor and whoever else, but I'm not a legal expert.
you have any comments?
I do. It's incumbent on us as commissioners to be prepared when we sit down into this room to handle the business with the constituents we represent. I understand some of us are busy. I am extremely busy most of the time and still find time to study, to get my questions answered. There's been ample opportunity for questions to be asked. We've had 2 separate meetings in this room for people to ask questions about this development. The city's had meetings, there's been public meetings. Our purview isn't parking. That belongs to the city. We don't regulate parking in the city of Munising. The fourth, 5 things we are to consider are A, B, C, D, and E is listed in this resolution. We shouldn't be stepping outside of our purview and delaying things just to delay them. It does not look well for us. Thank you.
You have anything?
I mean, I'm right there with Mike saying that there were plenty of opportunities, and they were not only, you could have come to a brownfield meeting where you could have gotten answers, asked Pam or I to ask the questions for you. There were so many opportunities. And the part that's killing it right now is, for me, is this throws the timeline off even more so than it already has been. And this is something I think that we really need here. So delaying it more is disappointing.
You spoke well, Mike.
Thank you, Vicky.
I just, I'm not sure on what it was all about, and I wasn't given this policy until a couple days ago. I don't know why I missed out, but I did. And I need more to educate myself. Any other board comments?
Well, I got an email with, I didn't get that. I got the, when the agenda for the Board of the Committee of the Whole is when I got the packet. And they couldn't download it. The file was too big. So I had basically 8 days to look at it, and I didn't have 8 days.
Most of that packet, like 90% of it, we've had before.
Well, I got it all.
Except for all the lab work at the end, we've seen that entire beginning of that packet, identical. Somewhere I've got the paper copy of it from when we were given that previously. Actually, we had it actually when the developers came for the meeting just with us, not the public hearing. We had that same packet minus, I believe the only things that were missing were like the reports from the company that did the soil drilling and the lab themselves.
Right.
You finished? Staff comments? Any staff comments?
I have none there, thanks.
Were you in a rodeo or anything?
No.
I have comments, so,
Sure.
you know, this is your county land bank, that's 20% ownership of this. And I'm one of the managers also who helps with this. And I know our land bank has done all the due diligence that we needed to do. We have a commissioner on our land bank and we meet often. And anytime anyone had a question, they should have been there to ask it. Our brownfield, we've done all of our due diligence. That's also a county brownfield. We've hired a representative to represent the county, to make sure that everything was met the way the county needs it to be met. And that was also, we meet almost monthly on that. So anybody who had a question could have been there also.
I'm gonna speak as a resident of the city, if I could, this is something we desperately need in our town. I mean, this is dozens of high-paying jobs. There's a childcare center, there might even be a grocery store. And what it looks like is that these people are caught in between a non-existent feud between the county and the city and the DDA. And what it actually looks like is we're just holding funds hostage now after these people put in all this work over parking. And that just doesn't make sense to me that we wouldn't embrace this thing wholeheartedly. wholeheartedly, I intend to walk whatever distance it takes to get to this grocery store, notwithstanding parking. And the taxes, that's the way the DDA works. We have a DDA in the city of Munising. We agreed to this way back in 1996. And it's made our town beautiful. You know, I know that you guys don't all represent the city, but it's the largest population center of our county and the largest tax base. So we need to try and find a way to work together. I will encourage the board to renew the resolution as quickly as possible.
Thank you. Any more comment? Brief public comment.
Do I have to come up to, make public comment now?
No, you stand up there, Bromley. Mr. Dixie.
Bromley Hall, E9550 Crimson Court, Wetmore, Michigan. I, obviously a little bit of a conflict here as I am a contractor and I stand to benefit a little bit immediately off of this project. Commissioner Capagrosa, I think, you know, with your questions about the taxes, you know, the one thing that I would like to say about that is that, you know, the current taxes still are being paid for that 17 years. As a city, as a DDA, they don't stand to benefit financially immediately. But as they said, those funds are used for the project. We have to think about our kids and our grandkids in 17 years when that thing goes back on the tax rolls for the fully assessed value. These incentives are set up for revitalization for those purposes. To do something like this with all private money, you're not gonna see a developer ever do that. These incentives are used everywhere. The state is behind this. The city, the DDA, as you said, paying the county land bank. Everybody's fully behind the project. We have to think more about the future than we do the immediate. The taxes are still being paid for 17 years, as they always have. The additional money rolls back into tax increment financing, but think about the 17 years. The other thing we have to think about something like this is these incentives a lot of times are based to be a catalyst for other development. Something like this, a rich development like this has never happened in our area. And it very well could be a catalyst moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
I think, Jill Ferrari, Renovare Development, we would like to thank all the staff for all the hard work, that you've all put in and, it's been a year to get to this point. We want to thank the county. You're already a partner in this deal. You've guaranteed the pre-development loan. So the county is in this deal with us, with the land bank, with the city. This is a whole community effort. We strongly encourage you to ask specific questions so that we can answer them. The commissioner asked a few questions that we didn't feel we were legally able to answer. And if we were legally able to answer his questions, we would have answered them right away. We needed to talk to our attorneys and really figure that out. We expected those questions to come back at public hearing. They did not. There were no questions at the public hearing. So at that point, it was our understanding that technical questions had been answered. So please, if you have technical questions on the plan, please let us know what those are so that we can answer them. Our goal is to move forward. This absolutely does impact our timeline. It will mean that we will not be in front of the Michigan Strategic Fund when we were planning on being there. So we will have to let the state know that we have not met this deadline, and it will move our construction dates and all of our performance dates, and it puts our funding at risk. We have $2.7 million from the state of Michigan that's under a very tight timeline. So please, let us know what your technical questions are so that we can work with you to be comfortable.
So when is your deadline for that finance?
We need to be in front of MSF in December, and we will now not meet that date.
Not even if there's a special meeting on this?
No, because the information was due very quickly within the next week or so. So I mean, when is the meeting that we're proposing?
Could be in 11 days.
Pardon?
It could be in 11 days.
11 days? I mean, it's possible to meet our timeline, but we just would need to know, and we'd want to know what the technical questions are, so that we can have them
You don't have
answered.
the answers to that.
Okay. Will also say, I cannot divulge the brand, but we do have a grocery store that is very interested. And if we change our timeline, we risk losing that interest. So we just would like to move together and answer questions and get across the finish line.
And now's the time to set a special meeting if you want to do that.
It is.
Yes, please.
What date is that? 11 days from now. Still in October, right?
27th.
Maybe the 27th.
Want to make a motion to that?
I don't think we have, as long as 1/3 of us asked for it, correct?
Felt like you all,
I mean,
Yeah.
at the
Yes.
time.
Yeah,
and then
What, 4 o'clock?
Dean still gets text on this.
Correct. 4 o'clock.
Okay, I just have to be an estimate on the 27th that you guys, so I'll
We
make
can
it
do it
back.
earlier if you want.
Yeah, if you've got something else, I need a different time.
No, I'll be back, right?
I gotta stay fair board meeting. I'll be back about that time.
Yeah, 4 o'clock.
Insert, please.
Sounds good.
Pending.
Can you make it, Pam?
I will do that.
Your information. Everybody good with that?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Then I'm looking for a motion.
Or
To adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
One second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Caprosa?
Yes.
Commissioner Livermore?
Yes.
Commissioner Nettleton?
Yes.
Commissioner Under?
Yes. Thank everybody for coming.